Good.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to another episode of Drop the Clutch. I'm Dan. I'm joined with my guests Dylan and Ruth. And today we are joined by a guy who is absolutely flying in the world of Speedway. He's getting maximums in Poland, Britain for fun. Please welcome Wolves and Scunthorpe star Ryan Douglas. Ryan, thank you very much for coming on.
No worries, boys. No problem at all.
Obviously, you're a busy guy yourself, Ryan. So, what does a week in the life of Ryan Douglas look like to us supporters that just sit and watch you?
Yeah, well, it's busy coming up at the moment, really, with Wolves obviously on a Monday, and then it just depends really with championship clubs during the middle days, and then if you've got an away meeting with Wolves on a Thursday, and Fridays obviously Scunthorpe, and then Saturdays or Sundays in Poland, and then back at Wolves on Monday. So it's it can be pretty flat out, but I enjoy it. Obviously, you get days. It's nice to have a day doing nothing for a bit, but after a day sitting around, I'm ready to go again.
And you got yourself a little paid maximum on the BSN cameras last night. How did you find that?
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, it's no secret. It was never my strongest track, probably going to Wolves. But I think I've got better each season, and this year I feel a lot better again. Really, I think I've pretty much got there where I feel like I'm comfortable racing anyone there now. So hopefully I can build on that this year and make my average a lot stronger at home.
Still, have you got any questions for Dougie with Wolves?
You have mentioned about Wolves not being your strongest. Was that kind of the reasoning behind coming to Wolves? Was you had Scunny in the Championship with a bigger track, and then a lot of people I think expected you to be at Peterborough maybe because of your record around there. Is it important to stay at Wolves and keep mastering the smaller circuits?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously I've got it's like a home now though as well. I was living with Pete Adams the last couple of seasons, and just the atmosphere at Wolves, I just enjoy that anyway. But for riding perspective, it's a big thing for me to be at Wolves and learn that kind of thing. And then it's only going to make me a better rider in the long run. So I kind of bit my teeth a bit and just keep working at it. And it's starting to show now. And it makes me a better overall rider.
And with Dick obviously moving to Leicester this year, you two obviously being really good mates, did that have any impact on, that cross your mind when you were back at Wolves and Nick was somewhere else? Because obviously it seemed like you two really enjoyed riding together when you were at Wolves.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was ever on my mind about Leicester, but obviously I think he was definitely torn and it could have gone either way really. But in the end, he decided to stay with Leicester and move up with them, which is, you got to do what's best for him. And I'm sure he'll be back at Wolves one day, but for now we'll be against each other in both leagues. But I'm sure we'll have some good races this season.
And I believe I saw Rob Godfrey say something like he wasn't meant to have been doing the championship this season. So what was it that brought you back to Scunny this year?
Well, I thought, last year I kind of said to him at the start of the year, I was looking to kind of get to a level where I could kind of go without the championship, but just the way everything is now with the way, when you can do 2 leagues in England and Poland, I think that's the best option for me anyway, to keep busy and ride that amount and look at maybe trying to get into Sweden and that instead of maybe the championship. But for beneficial for me, I think better just to do the 2 leagues in England and better financially as well. So, and obviously I had a great year there and good year at all my clubs. So I just try to keep everything pretty much the same and keep going in that direction.
And you only dropped 1 point all weekend on Friday. Is the plan this Friday just to go out and absolutely fucking smash it and get a max?
It's always the plan. If it comes off or not, it's a bit different. But I feel like it's definitely possible to do that. And I was a bit annoyed with myself or that I didn't get it done. And then I had the same opportunity in Poland on Saturday. And I got to heat 15. I was sitting there thinking, bloody hell, I can't drop another point in the last race. So I was pretty damn happy to get that one done. And then obviously just the 3-ride one at Wolves. So, it's going really well. And I'm feeling confident on the bike. And it just helps a lot when you can go out in these tracks and you can fully confident to send it in and ride your best.
And obviously, with the maximum in Poland on Saturday, do you reckon this could be a big booster for you and that the extra league teams and the leagues above sit up and take notice of Ryan Douglas?
Yeah, well, I'd like to. Obviously, last year was my first season in Poland, and I did okay. I think I got one paid max and then a few like decent scores. But yeah, I think it was definitely a lot of room for improvement. And this year coming back, I've got that bit of experience there now, and kind of know what I'm getting into. And yeah, I feel like I've already started the year better than I finished last season, and can see what places where I can be better. So that's obviously the plan. Yeah, to just keep working on getting better out there, and hopefully by the end of this season, I'll be more in a position to yeah, take that next level.
So, you got any more questions, Dill?
You started working with David Hare a couple of seasons back. Has that, and your career has kind of turned since that? Was working with him a kind of turning point for you? Obviously, CVS mentioned it when you were at Wolves, and then it seems to have helped you everywhere in Britain now.
Yeah, I think he's definitely helped me. It's takes a lot of stress off my back with doing preparing bikes, and there's never my strong point. I could do it, but I wasn't didn't put the same love into it as he can. And it's not just the bikes at the track. He obviously is a great rider himself, and been riding England for a lot of time. So it's good to have bounce off someone. And obviously I'm riding the bike just trying to go fast, and sometimes you don't really think about what you're doing until you come back in, and he's got that other perspective to say, oh, you're doing this and that. So I think we work well together, and he likes to win as much as me. So yeah, we're working well.
Funny you mentioned David Howe, actually. He commented on our post with any questions, and he asked, could you function without him?
I wouldn't like to, that's for sure. It's I'm definitely enjoying life with him in the camp. It's yeah, it's a massive help. Obviously, it's you see other riders that are doing the same leagues as me, and still doing their own bikes, or got mechanics coming and going, and it's just something you don't. It makes the stress of it a lot harder, and the toll on your body as well. If you're getting home early in the morning and having to get up and wash bikes and then leave again, it's okay for a few days, but definitely takes its toll after a bit.
And does it sort of help you as a rider? Obviously, having David there, but having David as a teammate in your earlier years over here.
Yeah, a little bit. I think when I first come on the scene, he wasn't the best teammate. He took me off a couple of times at Scunny in the first corner, but it's I've obviously known him through that, and we've seen each other around a bit after that. And it wasn't until I think after my first year at Leicester, when I signed with Wolves at the end there, and then started the next season doubling up, I thought, oh, I need to take the step now to get a full-time mechanic and someone that can look after my equipment properly, so I can just concentrate. And I was lucky enough to get Dave, and yeah, since then never looked back.
I remember when Wolves signed you, actually, Dan messaged me from watching you at Scunny saying you are the strongest of gators. And I've noticed that last year and this season, you've really knuckled down with the gating, and you can beat pretty much anyone out the gates. Would it be fair to say that you never used to be the best of gators?
Yeah, for sure. When I first started, obviously, or when I first come over, the first few years, I hadn't really even ridden Speedway too much, so I was still learning everything. I was just probably trying to go fast, and that's about all I could do. But I've obviously learned, and now I think I'm a pretty decent gator now, and definitely roll up to the tapes, trying to be in that corner first. And yeah, still obviously getting better and things I can improve on. But yeah, I've got obviously good people around me who can point me in the right direction, and yeah, just keep working.
And do you think that year out where you failed to qualify for your visa, and then you came back, and I think it was with Leicester the first season back, do you think that really turned the corner? That season out was the turning point for you kicking on?
Yeah, I think obviously I didn't get the visa, and I was a bit down on that, and kind of didn't really know where I was going to go from there. When I went back to Australia, I wasn't sure if I even wanted to come back again, and kind of had a few months off, and then obviously started speaking to Darcy and Dave Watt, and they kind of still seen something in me that I could be a decent rider, and just watched some videos and just things like this, and just thought, oh, you can do this, and started just practicing and riding by myself a fair bit, and yeah, started enjoying it again, and getting better, obviously. And yeah, then I come back to Leicester was a big thing for me as well. Obviously only ridden Scunthorpe, which was, I've always been good around them kind of tracks, and the year to go to Leicester, it's a track that probably wasn't my best track either, and it made me a lot better rider. And since being able to ride these kind of tracks more often, I've kind of got better and better, and it's made me a better rider everywhere.
And you've started this season similar to last season, and last season the injury kind of derailed it a little bit. Are you going to be trying to keep this going all season now, try and stay on the bike bike and you've started the season really well? Is it just to try and does it make you think and kind of do you ever think about being a little bit more cautious or because of last season's experiences kind of thing?
A little bit, but it's it's speedway, and this is the risk you take every time you get on the bike. You can only do so much, and I think the Polish one, when I hurt my shoulder first, was a little bit my fault. But then the last one, obviously, was in the final at Poole, and I was in front and kind of just got tangled, and there's nothing you can do about that. Just wrong place, wrong time. But no, I think I'm already just riding better than I was even the start of last year. I feel better on the bike, and little things I notice when I'm riding that I feel more comfortable in certain positions, and which allows you to attack the track more and feel more comfortable anyway. So even if you're going faster, you're kind of feeling more comfortable anyway.
And I've got to ask as well, looking at, I think it was your second race last night where you were out in front and you clipped the back straight fence, and I think my heart was in my mouth a little bit. I thought, here we go, straight down the back straight and off. Was that a bit of a more nervous moment than it looked like? Did it look worse than it was?
Yeah, a little bit. I was more worried about just getting past than anything. But it's I think things like that I've got a lot better. I think last season and places like Wolves, I would have had that moment and probably entered the next corner a bit softer and being a bit worried about the next corner. But now at the moment, didn't really even think about it. Made a little mistake, and as soon as I got it back under control, just straight back on it and no problem. So yeah, it's good. It's good to be able to feel like that on the bike at the moment.
And a couple of months back, Adam Ellis posted out the sort of costs it to ride in this country and abroad. Is your costs of riding abroad and over here sort of similar?
I didn't really look at it, to be honest. I had a quick look, but I couldn't remember off the top of my head. But it's not cheap, obviously, but it's definitely comes down to performance a lot. If you can go over there and here and you're scoring points, it's happy days and you don't think about it too much. But it's definitely a performance sport, and if you're not scoring them points and you got these costs coming and going, it can weigh on you, and you can see how people can get in the rut and start trying too hard and going worse. But I'm lucky that I've had some pretty good runs and not having to be stressing too much and just concentrate on my riding.
And you've mentioned you've started on the online speedway community. So Reese Harvey's asked, are you any good on the speedway game on your phone?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm better than Reese anyway, let's just say that.
Just touching on last night a little bit, because obviously the rain came down and it looked like they were going to try and carry on. What was the feeling within Wolves' side of things? Did they want to carry on, or were they happy to sit at 26 points?
Well, when it first kind of started and then it kept raining, I think that last race was one that looked not too fun, and like was the base, it was down to the base, and then a little bit there was just like ice rink out there kind of thing, so it was kind of not really safe to race on. But then it stopped and I did that bit of track walk, and I think we would have finished the meeting if that rain didn't come again, obviously. But once it come again, then it was probably no chance, and it's obviously would have been nice to go out again and extend the lead, but you never know when the conditions are like that. It could have gone the other way, and that could have got a less lead. So I think at the end of the day, we're happy with the result, and we can definitely go to Bellevue confident we can keep that points lead.
That leads me on, actually. Morgan, a Wolves fan's asked, what's your best track in the UK, or what do you think is the best track in the UK?
I don't know. Obviously, my best performance has probably been at Peterborough, so it's easy to say that because every time I go there, I score well and feel good. So I do enjoy that. But to be honest, I'm liking Wolves this year. I'm still got a new love for it, and I don't know if I'm doing a bit better, but I'm starting to be able to ride the bike better there and kind of getting the more enjoyment out of it.
I've got another one here, actually. How do you stay motivated to carry on, like after you've obviously had an injury, or if you've had a poor end to a season? How does the motivation stay to keep going?
It is tough sometimes. I've had times when I've had a shit run and kind of felt like, oh, I'm not sure what's going on here, and you kind of just want to break, but you kind of, it doesn't take long. It only takes one meeting and you have a good result and you get that fire back again. You're like, oh no, I can do this. And then I try to stay positive and look at the big picture, and one or two meetings not so good doesn't it's not the end of the world, you know. It's there's a new race every day nearly. So as long as you're in your head, you know what you want to do, and got something you can work on to be better on, then that's the main thing.
And a question that's come from my nan says, what was your proudest moment riding Speedway?
Proudest moment? Don't know. I don't really think about it, to be honest, but I just kind of race every meeting and don't sink it in. It doesn't sink in too much. I kind of just always looking to do something else. But I think my first TV meeting, I think I was guesting, I think it was for Peterborough against Swindon. It was my first TV meeting, and I went out and scored like, I can't even remember, it was like 18 or something like this. And I remember all my family and that got to watch it, and it was pretty cool to be able to be on TV and people back in Australia and family and that be able to watch it was something definitely to remember.
And talking of Peterborough, like we mentioned earlier, people expected you to maybe have a season there. Has it ever crossed your mind to go to Peterborough and have a season there? At a home track, you'd feel confident you could max out every week and fly around there like you see, you know, you fly there when you're there with Wolves. You keep Wolves in the meeting for most of it. It's like, have you ever considered making it a home track, especially with them potentially moving after this season?
Yeah, I did. I have thought about it, and I have spoke to Peter before, but it would have been probably good at the time, but then it probably would have affected me more with the smaller tracks than never riding them only as an away rider. And I don't want to be that rider all the time that can only ride certain tracks. I want to be a complete speedway rider and be able to go anywhere and score well. So yeah, I kind of bit my teeth and just keep working at what I'm doing, and it's hopefully pay off.
And there was a lot of people tipping Wolves as underdogs this year. A lot was made of it of our wooden spoon and this and that. And I think the first couple of meetings have shut a couple of people up. What is it about this team that's just kind of gelled? Because there's a lot of Aussies in it, and then you've got Zach's come in and he looks really strong at number 6 as well, which we probably didn't have last season.
Yeah, obviously Sam's a good number one, and he gets underrated sometimes as well. But he's pretty bloody good around Wolves and the away tracks as well. And I think Stevie's started flying, and him at number 2, if he can ride to his potential, it's and improve it. It's it's 1 and 2. You're not going to get much stronger than that. And obviously Rory coming back, there's question marks if after a season out what he'd be like. And I think he's shown people he's still at a very good level and going to be solid all season. And I think myself, I've kept getting better, and this year I've kind of started on fire. And if I can ride the way I've been riding it and better, then it's a really strong top 5. Obviously, when Becca comes back or with Scotty. So, and obviously Zach at reserve is good for us as well. It's last year with Drew and Leon, we kind of a bit hit and miss. Where hopefully you can be that bit more consistency at reserve, and Leon can kick on a bit. And I think there's no reason with this side we can't be pressing in the playoffs.
And obviously, go on, Dale.
Carry on. I was going to ask a scunny question anyway, so carry on.
Obviously, as Dale mentioned, the Wolves have been tipped for near bottom by the experts, but Scunny have been tipped to be like playoff contenders this season, obviously, because we're normally the Cinderella club that never really make it. Do you reckon we've got it in the tank this year to actually get into them playoffs and do some damage?
Yeah, I think for sure. It's I think it's a little bit of a blow that Zane Kennedy's not come back. Obviously, on his average coming in at reserve, it was it would have been perfect around Scunny, especially would have made us a lot stronger. But without him, it's hopefully we can find a good replacement. But other than that, obviously Tofty coming back, it's a great number 5, and he's a proven race winner in that league. And Jake's he's due for a good season. Obviously last year had a few problems and family problems, and he definitely wasn't his best season, but he's doubling up again now, and I hope he really has a good year. And if he can do that, and I can stay at my level I was at last season, and Connor coming in, I think we're a strong 1 to 7 really. So it's if we all ride to our ability again, we're as good a side as any, I reckon.
And we've seen recently, actually last week, there's been a couple of scraps, a couple of heated moments. Is there something in the methanol this season that's just getting everyone's testosterone up a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know about that one. It's I don't mind seeing it, to be honest. It's a bit of entertainment, and it's good to watch. But I don't know. I haven't got that urge yet. I must have different fuel. But no, it happens in speedway. Obviously, people see things that way that a race or incident happens and react, and yeah, I think it's it's one of them things, and you're gonna see it.
On the subject of scraps, and obviously Speedway needing more entertainment for the money, do you reckon like scraps there's more going to be more needed in the sport to promote it better?
No, I don't think it's needed, but it's not. I don't think it's a downer either. Like it's something interesting to watch, and it's something different, I guess. But it's good to see the passion. I think more than anything, you know, they're not just there riding around and going back in the pit and not doing anything. They obviously mean something to them if they're reacting like that. So it kind of can involve the crowd a bit more as well.
It's the Lewis Kerr and Tofty fight actually at Sheffield. That was the best part of the meeting. It really livened the crowd up. Are we going to get part 2 on Friday? Well, that's a question.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I did see that Oxford are there on Friday, so I don't know. Hopefully, we'll have to wait and see. But I'll be up the front watching anyway. Hopefully, and if it does kick off, I'll have a front row seat.
Sweet. And another question: what's your ambitions for this year?
Ambitions, just I don't really have a certain goal. I've got goals, my own goals, but obviously keep them to myself. But I just keep improving. Obviously in Poland, I want to improve out there and keep going up the levels. Obviously in the second division now, and obviously I'd like to be in the first division. And you never know, one day extra league. But it's it's a big plan of mine to be able to go that next step out there. Obviously the monies can be very good, and you can kind of set yourself up. It's not a long career. Obviously you got to finish up eventually, and if I can get something out of it to start life after Speedway, that's the plan.
And just touching back on Speedway Challenge and started playing that, what kind of got you into playing Speedway Challenge? Because I've just come back to playing it and I'm shit on the new version of the game, so I'm miles off. But what got you into playing that? Was it just something to pass the time for half hour, or keep you sharp with gating, or?
Well, I play a little bit of games sometimes on the flights. Obviously going to Poland most weekends, I get a few games on the phone. And I was sitting there once, and Reese texted me actually, and he'd versed someone on the game called Ryan Douglas, and he's like text me asking if it was me, and I said, "Oh no, it's not me." And then a couple of days later, I was like, "What's that game? I want to play it." And then I ended up getting it, and yeah, obviously you can do the online and stuff. So yeah, we've been having a bit of banter and racing each other a fair bit. So no, it's good fun, and obviously I enjoy Speedway, so it's you can definitely pass some time on there.
And looking at Scunny this year, I know, like, other than Birmingham, everyone in the championship's got Kevlars. Do you think the championship this season's kind of took that next level up of looking more professional to follow the top league with BSN and all these sponsors coming in and stuff?
Yeah, it's a lot more professional looking, I think. Everyone looks smart, obviously, with Kevlars and a bit of merch in the pits, and it kind of, you look as a team where when everyone's got, one person's got green and the other purple, and it looks a bit mismatched. So it's definitely a lot more team thing, and it looks a lot more professional, and I think it can only help.
And touching on merch, a lot of riders have brought out their own personal merch this season more than most, like last season and before. Is that anything that you'd consider doing?
Yeah, I'm slowly looking into it. Obviously, it's another thing to do, but I think I'll do a little bit this season. But it's just it's another outlet to organise and pay to get out, and then obviously sending it out and stuff like this. So no, I think I'll get a little bit of some hats done soon, and maybe some shirts and things like that. But it's not obviously too much money in it. It's more I just like to see people wear your stuff. Obviously, it's cool to see, but other than that, that's about it.
From 2021, maybe, I think it was, when you and Steve had the crash at Wolves, and then everyone hated Steve Worrell, and then the next season he signed. What was, because looking at it back on the video, you and Steve seemed fine about it, even though he'd just wiped you out. You seemed to be having a laugh and stuff, but the Wolves fans really turned on him, and now they seem to love him. What do you think's kind of swung them towards loving him as opposed to hating his guts when he wiped you out that meeting?
Yeah, well, obviously it was one of them crashes. He kind of misjudged it a bit, and I was coming back down the other way, and he gave me a good T-bone. But yeah, well, knew it wasn't intentional, so I'm not kind of one of them people. It's racing, and things do happen, and I can see how fans could see it as that did on purpose or this or that. But he's a good guy, and he's got time for everyone. So I'm sure once they got to know him at Wolves and realised he's not that kind of rider either, it's pretty straightforward that they'll end up loving him.
And one more from a Wolves fan, actually. What's your favourite thing about riding for Wolves?
Favourite thing would be just the team atmosphere. It's obviously the Aussies and Pete Adams as manager. There's obviously pressure to do well from ourselves, but it's never like a cutthroat team, and they don't change massively every season. It's it's kind of like a bit of a family, and we obviously want to do well, but yeah, it's a good atmosphere, and obviously the fans as well, they're always behind us. You don't see too much backstabbing and comments on the internet saying how slagging riders and things like this. So it's definitely an enjoyable club to be at.
And touching on Wolves being quite a similar outfit, Scunny's quite similar with that, isn't it? So have you got the same feel as last year this year?
Yeah, I think it's not changed. I think we've got definitely a better side this season. Hopefully, a bit more backup with me, and it's a lot nicer going out there and seeing other boys, have good meetings as well. That's good. And Rob's, I was, and since I first started, he done a lot for me and kind of kept me over here in the start when things weren't going the best. And it's nice now to come back and repay that. And hopefully we can win him a trophy this year.
And a cheeky question from one of your teammates: what's your go-to Taco Bell order?
That's got to be the volcano box meal. It's a good setup, that one.
On the talk of takeaways and stuff like that, what on a race night, what's the sort of diet a rider of your caliber sort of has?
Well, I try to eat well most of the times. Obviously, it's hard after you're finishing late at night. There's nothing open, so it's usually bloody McDonald's probably on the way home to keep you going. And then one day at night after Wolves, the team always goes for an Indian, so that's the Monday night one. But other than that, I don't really eat too much takeaway. Try to eat at home and eat pretty decent.
You touch on Pete and the familiarity he brings. As the team missed him the past couple of weeks with him being away, or has Chris kind of seamlessly fit into the role of his dad?
I think Chris has done a really good job. Obviously, he's been around the team for many years and knows all the riders as well. So he's definitely done a good job. But we definitely miss having Pete there. He's a great bloke, and maybe comes across a bit not so friendly on the TV and things like this. But no, he's got just a dry sense of humour and one of the funniest people in Speedway. So we love having him there and wishing him all the best. And hopefully he'll be back for Thursday.
And looking at Kings Lynn, obviously the aggregate point and stuff, but Kings Lynn are really in a bad run at the minute. Is he go there and just blow them away again and hope Kasper Zach's as shit as he has been last week?
Yeah, well, it's obviously we're going to their track now, and Kings Lynn, we didn't have the best luck there last season. I think we got a bit of a smoking, but it's obviously a new season, and we're all riding well, so it's a new day. But it's obviously they got riders that do go well there, and it's going to be tough for us to go there. But there's no reason why we can't win or keep it close. But we're not looking to get hammered as much this season, that's for sure.
In the top league, what does it feel like for you going up against world-class riders like Doyley and obviously Emil and Nicky that are back?
I think it's a great thing. I want to race against the best. Obviously I want to win all the time, but if you're going out there beating people all the time, you're not pushing yourself. So I love to be able to go out race them and see where you're at against them, the world's best, and you can learn from them and try chase them kind of thing. So I love having them back in British Speedway, and hopefully it's advertising to more foreign riders to come over here and make British Speedway better again.
I'm literally all out of questions. Wolves fans were really boring today.
There's been rumours actually of riders like Freddie Lindgren and Jakob Forsell coming back. Are these any riders you've had interactions with in the past?
Obviously, Jacob was at Wolves when I started for a couple of years, so I've got to know Jacob a bit. And yeah, he said he's definitely open to coming back to England and when it fits into his schedule and stuff. But I'm not sure when that'll be. But I'm pretty sure you'll see Jacob back here. And as for Freddie, not too much to do with him really, just a few meetings here and there. But yeah, I'm sure he'd be back at some point. He obviously was pretty keen to get here at the start of the year and did those few meetings and did well. So I can't see why he wouldn't be back here at some point.
And Reece Harvey's asked, actually, when was your first ever maximum?
Never clue. I don't think it was my first year anyway, but probably my second year at some point, I would say. As I think I started at reserve my second year at Scunny and was banging in some big points at reserve for a few weeks there before I ended up going straight to number 5 after that. But yeah, I think it was some point in the second year.
And I've got to ask this on a Scottish perspective here. I don't know if you've seen on social media, but there's an absolute twat known as Fan Power that believes Scunny is quite an unsafe track. What's your thoughts on the track at Scunny? Is it quite a safe track? Or?
Yeah, I think obviously it gets a bad rap sometimes, but I think it's a really good track, good racing, smooth, and yeah, I can't see a problem with it really. It's the only thing was with the Armco, obviously behind the air fence. At the odd time the bike would hit and lift it up, and if people were going underneath and hitting that, it's obviously not real good with it's a dead stop there. But I see he's got the new bag now that don't move, so that's a lot safer there. And I think that was the main problem. And yeah, obviously some riders don't go that well there and just say they don't like it, but it's good for me. I can turn up there and score well, so I don't have a problem with it.
And what's the team morale at Scunny this year? Because we've got a good bunch of lads, obviously, as you mentioned, but are we all gelling together really well?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, we've only had the one, but we all know each other, and yeah, it's no problems there. Obviously, Connor's rode with him at Leicester for a few years, so it's nice to be with him again. And obviously, known Jake for a long time, and Simon's always up for a chat and does his best. So, no, it's good. I can't see why that would be any problem this season. All just getting along and trying and working as a team.
And you've mentioned you had a couple of years at Leicester. When you initially went to Leicester, what was your thoughts on the track there?
Definitely not my favourite track. It can be a bit bumpy sometimes and long straights and tight corners, which wasn't my specialty. But yeah, it got better and better, and now I don't mind the track there. It's when it's prepared well and you can have a real good race there. But obviously on the days when it's not prepared the best, or they've had some bad weather and can get a bit deep and rough, it can definitely be hard work.
And that's literally me out of questions. Ruth, have you got anything for Dougie?
You've shown your liking to the Birmingham track quite a bit. Have you got an opinion on that?
Yeah, I do like the Birmingham track. I think the last 2 years it's got a lot nicer. I think a few years back it was pretty rough and a few holes and stuff, and I didn't have the best meetings there. And then the last 2 years it's been really well prepared and seemed to be fast when I go there. So obviously a track you can turn up and score good points and it's prepared decent, and I'm definitely enjoy it.
That's good. Looking forward to Scunthorpe's visit in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's not long. We'll be at Birmingham. Obviously, Nick's there this season, so it'll be good to have a few battles with him and see who ends up.
Just a really random one, actually. Before you break, obviously with the visa issues, your bike colours were like the blue and fluorescent yellow, and then you've gone towards more of a black and like a light bluey colour. Is there any thought that goes into the colours of your bikes, or is it just that looks nice and you go with it?
Yeah, I kind of just changed it up. I thought I was at the end of I think last year I changed to this light blue and black, and I've seen some sort of kit on like a motocross or something, and I thought, I like that colour. And then I kind of just decided to change and had a good year last year, so I thought I'll keep that colours and just changed it a little bit. But no, I like it. It's different. You don't see too many people with them colours, so it's nice to be a bit different.
And some people think that matching team suits and teams having matching bike covers are the way forward. Do you think as it is at the moment? I know the top league, it seems to be, other than Ipswich side, it's like just fork covers. Do you think at least leaving the bike covers alone and just having fork covers lets riders keep their individuality as well?
Yeah, I like that. I like the individuality of it. It's you can kind of have your own setup, and if everyone's got exactly the same as they do in Poland a lot as well, it's hard to tell who's who a bit when everyone's got exactly the same kit on. So when at least you can see the bike colours, it makes it a bit easier for fans to see who they're looking at, and obviously then it gives opportunity for the riders to show their individual stuff as well.
And that's me completely out of questions.
Do you want to just wrap this little bit up quickly then? So yeah, Ryan, massive thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. And yeah, very good luck for the rest of the season. And all being well, we'll see you on Friday.
Yep, sounds good, boys. So talk to you soon.
See you at Birmingham in a couple of weeks.
Cheers, Ryan.
I'll come over to say hi.
Yeah. All right, sounds good.
Cheers, Ryan.
See you
Cheers,
guys.
Ryan.
Bye.
Hang on.
So I could only apologise. There's only so many questions. So, guys, it is the weekly roundup of all the meetings and stuff that's been going on. Are we Speedway this week or are we WWE? Who knows? We've had a bit of both.
That was a beautiful clothesline by Lewis Kerr on Palm Top.
My mate Tofty deserves better.
Triple H would have been proud.
But yeah, so we're just to start things off on last Thursday. Obviously, you guys probably saw it on the BSN cameras. I was there. Sheffield absolutely walloping Kings Lynn 58 to 32 with the best Australian rider in the Grand Prix, in my opinion, Jack Alder, top scoring for Sheffield with 12 and a bonus, and Josh Pickering top scoring for Kings Lynn, doing Josh Pickering things, scoring 11. Christoph Kasperzak was absolutely abysmal. Nathan Bunting, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I brought it up, but I had to. He was like that shy. I could walk around the track quicker than he could.
It was disgraceful that he shut off after making a gate going into the first turn.
And then obviously we had the old fisticuffs where my mate Tofty got wrongly basically murdered by Lewis Kerr. That was just well, that made the meeting actually, because the meet was a little bit of shit.
It was fast action, but it was the best action. David Balago impressed me a bit though, but obviously bad news with the injury to Toby in Poland over the weekend.
Oh, God, breaking my heart again, Joe. Yeah, hopefully, obviously, I know Toby's aiming to be back for Ipswich away next Thursday, but I can't see that happening. But who knows? Also, last Thursday in a less eventful meeting, Ipswich beat Leicester 48-42. With Jason Doyle scoring 14-1 and Max Frick scoring 9-1, showing why Jack Alder will always be better than Max Frick. And then
Joe Thompson beating Dan Thompson.
Yeah, but that's just standard, that. So we'll move on to Friday, Good Friday. Happy Easter to all our viewers, even though we're like past Easter.
And it'll be even more past Easter when this goes out.
And happy Passover to any Jewish viewers.
And happy National Curry Day to any Indians watching. So, Good Friday then. Scunthorpe absolutely demolished Redcar 50-40 in what was probably the best meeting I think I've seen in ages. There was just action from Heat 1 to Heat 15, you know. The score probably don't reflect the efforts of the racing from both sets of riders. But Ryan Douglas and Charles Wright both top scored for the respective teams with 14 apiece. And if you see the link on Scunthorpe's Facebook page, watch Heat 10 of that meeting, because I commentated that on my own and I thought I was fucking brilliant.
And a bit of news for Birmingham fans, Ty Proctor scored a good few points and blew off the cobwebs for Scunner.
whilst riding Simon Lambert's bike because he hasn't got his own.
And wearing a hockey jersey.
Yes. Yes.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with wearing the hockey jersey, but I don't know. It just didn't look right.
Has Godfrey got Kevlars and not got guest race jackets or anything?
Probably not. No, I can't wait to see what Lassie Fredrickson wears on Friday.
Which obviously, when this goes out, will have already happened, so you're not spoiling anything there.
Well, if it's happened, because our forecast is a bit iffy for Thursday, Friday, so it might not be on.
Thankfully, Keith Lindsay's good, so Wolves get to go and fuck Kasperzak straight up the arse again.
If you want a programme, Dylan, I will happily purchase you one because Toft is on the front cover.
Very generous of you, good sir.
I do try my best. I've got about 5 here for you.
Thanks.
I've still got one for you, Dan, from last season.
Last season.
He's
Which
talking about
one?
coming out to Birmingham and Scunny anyway, so you'll be able to give it him in person.
Yeah.
That one against Wolves, the playoff, where Sheffield absolutely kicked Wolves' backside. What was it, 61-29?
No idea, but Wolves were shit.
What Dill said, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Ruth. I completely forgot about that.
I've got to find it, to be fair.
So, back on to Good Friday's results. In the shite version of Edinburgh versus Glasgow, Edinburgh beat Glasgow 48-42. I watched a live stream of it and I fell asleep after Heat 1. It was that boring. Hull demolished Oxford 57-33, as you would expect, because Oxford, other than the top 3, are a little bit shit.
Oxford end is a little bit too long, and there's a lot of pressure on Sam Scotty and Louis.
Oh, massive pressure on them, and I'm looking forward to seeing Louis versus Tofty Part 2 on Friday. That's literally the only thing getting me through the week.
And as well, so be interesting to see what Oxford do to cover Scott if he's not available to ride on Friday. Although him and Sam Masters notoriously don't do well at Scunny.
To be fair, Scott's normally okay at Scunny, just Sam Masters hates the place. I don't know why, because as Dougie said, it's an absolutely fine racetrack. The long-haired Cumbrian man scoring 13+1 for Poole in that meeting, and obviously Sam Masters top scoring for Oxford. And then Bellevue Colts absolutely demolished Berwick 61-29. Where Sam Hagan, Jack Heat 15 Smith, normally Wolverhampton Wolf Cubs, but Dylan, you've sacked him, and James Pearson all scoring paid maximum.
Yes.
All scoring paid maximums, whereas Danny Phillips, fuck off. Danny Phillips top scored for Berwick.
Berwick only ended up with 4 riders, with Freeman breaking his leg and some burns for Embleton and concussion for somebody else.
I know, but Danny Phillips scored 9. He normally scores about 1. So that happened on Friday. On Saturday, Leicester beat Berwick 48-42. Dan Thompson went through the card. That's all we have to say on that. No doubt it was a shit meeting because it's Leicester. Sunday,
banned from every track in the country simultaneously.
Sunday, Kent raced Mildrenall and they lost 44-46 in a interesting meeting. A very controversial incident actually in that meeting with Ben Morley and Luke Harrison, where Luke got excluded after the race anyway, which, having seen video footage, was actually Alfie Botel's fault.
Good news.
Don't say anything bad about Alfie.
I'm just saying what happened. So
Yeah.
the race,
he's quite telling.
the race was like ended, and obviously Alfie shut off, but left Luke nowhere to go. So Luke had to lay the bike down, which then made Ben Morley lay the bike down. And Luke got excluded from the race for that after the race had finished, because British Speedway in it or Cy Humphrey Kennett is the worst referee in British Speedway.
Yeah.
I said what I said, and I made comments on Scunny's stream about Barbara Raleigh.
Oh, she's not liked by the Birmingham fans.
To be fair, she was all right at Scunny on Friday. Going back to Easter Sunday, eat your Easter egg day. In the more eventful Scottish Derby clash, Glasgow beat Edinburgh 51-39. The top scorers are irrelevant because Craig Cook and Ben Basso beat the shit out of each other. Then Craig Cook got off his bike and Ben Basso shit it.
Yeah.
A Jack Russell going at a German Shepherd, and then the German Shepherd barked back, and the Jack Russell shit itself.
That's the one. And then going on to the last fixture I've got on my laptop here. I'm sure Dylan, you'll be able to tell us more about this, because I take great pride in saying "fuck the Aces" quite a lot. So Wolves 46, Bellevue 20.
Bellevue were abysmal. Wolves were gating. Bellevue weren't interested. Got to congratulate Dan Bewley on his maximum of conceding 5 1s. 3 out of 3 on that one. Reigning British champion in it.
I believe they call that a paid minimum.
Stevie Worrell getting his first 4-ride paid maximum for Wolves. Bomber coming in to guess for Scotty last minute. Well, Luke last minute because of Scotty's injury. Going through the card. And a brilliant effort of team riding in Heat 4 with Leon to beat Brady Kurtz. Zach Book with a win and a paid win looked really good. Sam doing Sam things. Rory was a bit hit and miss, and Dougie going through the card from 3 rides as well. Looked really good actually. The score doesn't show that there was actually some good racing. Just the majority of the racing came from Wolves. Bellevue fans have been saying the track was decent. It was one of the better meetings I've seen at Wolves for a time, to be honest.
To be fair, watch it on the BSN. I thought it was a decent meeting.
The track's got 2 lines on it again this season, something it had for a while, and it was really entertaining to watch. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Scott now, because I know Luke's been redeclared in the Wolves lineup for guest and facility purposes. So Scott's contract with Wolves may have lasted 5 days and 0 meetings.
As long as that?
Yeah, but
massive contract. That.
Great watching Bellevue fans have a meltdown. Makes my day. 6 point lead, second leg, which has been rearranged for May the 8th, I believe, at 12 o'clock. So yeah, but Bellevue on their home track, if they can dial in, they could easily, draw into that.
But can we just also say, based on the form of this season so far, Dan Bewley is just a ginger British Christoph Kasprzak. I said what I said.
Oh, God. Palmer. Oh, that's Dan's views and Dan's views only.
Yeah.
Well,
definitely not got that opinion.
I said this. I can't remember if I said this to you, Dylan, in one of our group chats. But Bellevue just went through the pan now because they've got 3 gingers in the team, and we all know gingers are just going to let you down, and I was proved right.
To be fair, Bellevue were just bad last night. Tom Brennan...
Anders Rowe rode well, I'll give him credit.
I do think he'll come in as a permanent replacement for Mulford. I think that'll be the start of the mid-season rebuild for Bellevue. But yeah, tomorrow's scheduled meeting for Birmingham, which Ruth I know is interested in, even though there's already a rider replacement in there.
It's the beginning of the season, and
It's
there's
a big
fucking rider replacement already. It's a joke.
It was
Just
a big
get a guest.
It was the beginning of our season and we had a guest.
Yeah,
think-
but why the replacement? Just get a guest.
Because rider replacement means the cheap option.
Well, it'll be interesting.
It's actually not a bad idea using rider replacement in what's basically a meaningless challenge because it means like your guys get extra track time.
He's not going to be on anyway. The weather forecast looks shit.
It's raining bed boop.
It's raining there at the moment, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely pissing it down here, boys.
Yeah,
I haven't looked.
Wolves, interestingly, are at Kings Lynn on Thursday, which should be okay from the rain. And I can't wait to see Wolves win at Kings Lynn. And Kings Lynn fans get more of them. They get their rumoured signing.
Just watch Christoph Kasper. That's going to go and get a 21-point maximum tomorrow just because you've said that.
Christoph Kasper's actually in so far, and he's only scored about 5 points.
He scored nothing at Sheffield. What did he score at Wolves?
I want to say like 3.
Successful comeback then, isn't it?
Got the programme here actually. He scored. Oh, 1 paid 2.
Successful comeback.
Yeah, former world number 2.
2021 real world champion, not this bloody Art and Laguta chap.
So yeah, that's everything rounded up.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't at any meetings over the weekend. I sort of wish I'd made the trek to one because
Should have
the
come up
place
to.
was shit.
You should have come up to Suicidal Scuddy.
The place was shit.
I can't wait to go to Scunny in about a few weeks. That should be fun.
Oh shit! While I was up at Argos, that just reminded me. While I was up at Argos, I could have fucking gone and booked the fucking room.
Well, that's the end of the weekly roundup anyway. Thanks for listening to this episode of Drop the Clutch. We'll be back next week with episode 15. See you guys later.
Apologies for any bad language you may have heard. Davina McCall is not here saying we're live on Channel 4, which technically means we're allowed to swear. But for me, it's a very good night.
And for me.